I don't want to be here right now. I shot this entire thing last night, and then upon going to edit it, I found that my hair kept touching the mic, so you just kept hearing clings and rustles. So I cut off all my hair and I'm doing this again. Let's head into the week. Good evening. It is Wednesday, and I have written today. Yesterday I did not write. Yesterday was Tuesday. Okay, look. For the first 2 days this week, I finished up the Team 8 project as I pushed the dates back for that, so I needed to do some more work on them yesterday and Monday. There wasn't a lot of work that needed to be done. I did have to make more aspects for chapter 3 on Monday, and I also had to make a couple more for 4, but I did that all on Monday. So could I have written yesterday, since basically all I did was upload it once it was done, just one quick run through at like 6 o'clock in the morning to make sure everything was good and then upload it? Could I have written yesterday? Yes, I could have. Did I? I don't know why I wasn't expecting to just kind of have a little bit of a slump at this point, but I really worked very hard last week creatively, and this week my body and my brain just couldn't. I like vegged out. I mean, I worked. I did like my actual work, the job I get paid for. And then in my downtime, I vegged. I watched TV. I sat by my husband while he watched TV. I chilled because I felt like I deserved it. Well, I didn't feel like I deserved it. I kind of beat myself up Monday and Tuesday for not writing my novel, but I am no longer doing that because this is still a part of the novel writing process. I would beat myself up if I didn't start writing today, and not that I did. I sat for an hour and I think I wrote about half a page. Obviously, I've like depleted a lot of my creative energy over the last couple of days, and I just am trying to figure out a happy medium, and also trying to figure out what to talk to you about regarding my novel as I'm writing it. Look, hey, can you just please? It's being belligerent. I can't do anything about it. Basically, I'm trying to figure out what I can say to you in this process, like what's going to be helpful tip-wise, I guess, what's going to make the most amount of sense me talking through. So I'm going to do a little bit of that along with some other stuff. So I do want to talk about the videos that are up for Team 8. I want to make some apologies. The tense switching, which maybe I shouldn't even say, because maybe you don't notice it, but like, this is the importance of an editor. I know what I think it should say, but when I read it, not out loud, I don't catch what it actually says. And then when I go to read it out loud, I still sometimes don't catch what I'm saying, but I will read what's on the page out loud. So there are some places that it's in present tense, and most places it's in past tense. That's really annoying to me. Like, really annoying to me. Am I going to redo all the audio for it? Heavens no. That was like 2.5 hours. My voice is barely back to this medallic, high-pitched, screeching chihuahua sound. I'm not going back down to gravel. Regardless of that, the switches are very upsetting to me. This is why I need to make sure I can send it to my husband and that he can edit it, because he'll see it. He said there was stuff in it. He was like, yeah, there's some editing stuff, but you'll catch that when you read it. But he forgets. His wife is not that bright. She's not going to catch it until she's editing, and then it's too late because she's not going to re-record. You may think that it's just as easy as re-recording the thing. No, because I would have to set up in the exact same space, try to make sure my voice matches the energy that I had that first day. I'm not a professional. Professional voice actors, they do not get the due that they are deserved most often. Just real good. Me, not that. Me, not that. Anyway, I apologize for that. Unless you didn't notice it, then I apologize for having pointed it out, and now you won't be able to unhear it. Also, sorry about the art. Hey, my artist friends, specifically Jan and Heifa, how do you feel about possibly doing the art for it better? Please, for future projects, let me know if you're interested. I will say that it's pretty cool that you can see the difference between like chapter 1 and chapter 4. Like, obviously I got better in the week that I was doing it. It's not by any means perfect, but it's not bad. I mean, it's not good either, but it's not bad. Thing 2, I don't think I'm gonna put a video up for December. I mean, obviously I'm putting these videos up, but I mean a story video. Specifically because December is like one of those chaotic months that you have to deal with a lot of chaotic stuff. So adding the chaos that we saw last week to it seems like a bad idea. It seems like I've had better ideas. It seems like I'm too educated to do that to myself. Barely educated. But I do have an idea for what I want to do for the next one, but so I'll put that up at the end of January. At most, if I put another story video up, it will be chapter 5 of Teammate, which I haven't written. The ending that you got is the ending that you were supposed to have. Mostly because if I thought any farther, the length was just going to get out of hand. It was 14 pages already. I just couldn't. There was too much. I wrote that in 3 days, 2 or 3 days, and I had to force it to end where it ended because it's just no. So if I can do a manageable 3-page addition to the end of that, I will put up a chapter 5 for December. If not, yes, that's the end. That's where it was intended to end, and that is where it shall end. You can figure out what you want, what you think happened afterwards. Basically, I'm just trying to figure out a life-passion balance. So, talking about balance, I cannot expect myself to be at a 10 all the time. I can't even expect myself to be at a 6 all the time. Like, I gotta in and out, right? So this week is probably not gonna be the best week I've had writing. As long as I get stuff done, that is what it is. And that is a success, regardless of what the negative side of my personality is trying to tell me. That is good. That is something. So I'm gonna work to really like hammer in either getting up really early and writing in the morning or staying up kind of late to write. All that to be said, I'm trying to figure out what is the best way to organize these vlogs, as the first few are very long and windy, obviously, because I'm not really sure how to communicate with you. Regarding what I'm writing. And I think I'm just gonna talk in general themes until I get to a place that I feel comfortable, like maybe sharing an excerpt to let you know what's happening or something. I don't know, I may not do that, who knows. But the beginning of my novel, I have to establish both character and setting. So, you know, I've already started recording. I've already been recording for like almost 20 minutes and I'm not gonna use all this. So that thing that I just said, we're gonna put it into tomorrow's thing so that I can be talking there. And that's what's gonna happen. Did I just cut myself off? Yes. And you know why I don't care? Because you only have to wait like maybe 45 seconds to go to the next one. I just don't wanna have to continue this because the editing of it will be trash. And I don't want that for me. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now. this dry? Good. Hi, I'm back. There's a pencil in my hand because I'm working on something. So where I left off yesterday. First things first. I wrote this morning. I got up again pretty early and wrote as much as I could before starting work. I'll probably write a little bit after work. I chose to do this during my lunch. I'm very slowly moving the story forward. I finally am out of one scene and into the next. But besides all that, because I can't necessarily talk to you about exactly what I'm writing, what I talked about a few moments ago was establishing character and setting. I don't know how many of you guys are writers or of any kind, like novels or TVs or skits, writers of TVs. Like what you write, poetry, don't ask me for help in poetry. I will never understand it, unless it's spoken word. I mean, I can't do it. More props to people who can put a lot of like meaning into something short. Not my forte. But when I'm writing longer pieces, and probably shorter pieces too, as can probably be seen in Team 8, I do a lot of focusing on, I do a lot to establish character more than anything else. I know that I don't really do a great job of establishing like place or setting in Team 8 because it's such a short thing and I didn't want to waste words on like describing exactly what the alley they were in looked like or exactly what the hotel room thing, building, conference room they were in. It helped that I did drawings for all of them so you could sort of see more or less what my mind was seeing, which is why physical art is so beautiful because you're able to actually communicate exactly what you mean. Not that I did that, but you know, anyway, it's really important for those things to be established for me at the same time, right? I will fully admit I am not the best at describing a setting, what is around us. I personally focus a lot more on what my characters are feeling and thinking and what their actions are moving them towards, which for the most part is fine in shorter pieces like Team 8. Like that's a stylistic choice, that's a thing. And you don't necessarily need too much. You need to be grounded, but you don't need an excess of information. That's what I tend to lean towards in my own writing. The problem is when you're in longer pieces, when you're writing like a novel, you can't just have everything in this like bubble sphere and just expect your readers to fill in the blanks. Like they can, but like don't, you know, like set it in a place unless it's specifically in a like void space, in which case I guess do what you want. Still probably explain the void space, I don't know. But for me, that's what's most important at the very beginning. But that's also how it gets really choppy because sometimes you need other characters involved to more accurately depict your main characters. Which is why in Team 8, there are like random people with names. There's like a Rick and a Paul, Frank, Rick and Frank. Why do they have names? Why is the woman, the British woman, not have a name when she is the rule giver? Like, why does Nadler have a name at all when he you know, so it's a lot. It's a lot of different things. And sometimes you just need other characters to be foils. Unfortunately, that means a lot of excess people that don't need to be there just start existing. I think I said this last week, but I might have cut it out. Like the scene that I'm writing right now has been very helpful for me as a writer in understanding the world and the circumstances that I'm building. As I'm writing, I'm understanding more quickly and accurately where the conflict is gonna begin and how it's gonna fit in. Like I said before, I write chronologically. So as I'm writing, I know I'm working towards this next point. And as I'm working towards it in just writing, I'm able to connect dots. Like, oh, so this makes it easier for this person to come in and meet, generalizations and whatnot. So what I'm working on right now is establishing character. And in establishing the character, I have to put them in places. And in those places, there are times where I'm like, okay, we need to see what this place looks like. And so I start writing like, this is what this place looks like, knowing that some of that stuff is gonna get cut. I need to put that down so that you guys can eventually see it. And in doing that and building those settings and building those settings for my characters to inhabit, more characters pop up because you don't just have empty settings, right? Like there's very little places that you'll go in the world and it's just an empty place with just you and the friend you walked in with. So there are other people. So how do those other people interact with or not interact with my main character, my main group? And so that means, oh, these people are now talking because you need some information, or so that you can see how friendly this one character is, or how standoffish they are, or how weird or normal or whatever. And all those building blocks have to happen at the same time for the whole world and the work to feel real, lived in, and realized. That's what takes forever. That's probably why I'm really tired, because like more characters are popping up that I'm like, oh, you're not gonna stay. These lines are gonna stay, but they're gonna be transferred to someone else because I don't need 6 people in this. Probably only 3 of you will make the cut for the final. So that's what I've been doing. And it's just taking a while because I like stop every few minutes to be like, do I really need this? And the answer is yes. I need to put everything, all the trash bits in now. And once the whole sloppy first draft is done, I will get to go back and cut those characters, reassign those lines of information, sharpen up the descriptions of the places or change them completely, considering what happens later if like that demands a change to what I had done before. It's a lot. It's very much like baking. I feel like, no, because baking, you can't go back and fix it. It's like cooking where there's like a lot of steps where you're making like a stew, a gumbo, and you have to chop all the vegetables first because it'll be easier, and then make the roux. And then once the roux is done, put in your aromatics. And I don't need to give you a whole recipe, but like, at a later date, if you're like, oh, this is not flavorful enough, I can add more seasoning, even though I put seasoning in. And that's perfectly fine. That's enhancing and making it better. That's how I feel writing is. Food. But yeah, that's all for today. If I write more later, I'll let you know. See you tomorrow. So it is Saturday morning when I usually shoot these intros. Well, technically I usually do them in the afternoon, but this is the day that I normally do this. But I did this last night because I was so exhausted and I knew that I wasn't gonna want to do this today. So I just did the wrap up yesterday so I wouldn't have to do it today. As you could tell, throughout the entirety of this week's video, I did not want to write at all. It just was not in the cards. I mean, it was in the cards, but I would pick that card up, put that card back down, shove it under the table, pick up a new card. I'm tired. And yes, some of it is from, like I mentioned before, just being creatively exhausted, but some of it's just regular fatigue. I'm just fatigued. It's the time when hormones rule everything and I just want a nap. So, woo. Yesterday specifically was kind of the worst. I legitimately did everything I could to not write. I washed all the clothes and I folded them all and I put them all away. You would think that that's something you would do when you do laundry regardless, but no. We let that mess sit to just not have to do it. And then I washed all the dishes and cleaned the kitchen. And then I organized a shelf that we never even really used. Eventually I did sit down and write. I didn't get clips for that because by the time I actually put pen to paper, I was like, if I have to get up to record this, I'm not going to continue doing it. So I didn't. So this week I wrote 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. and it was like pulling nose hairs. It was not it was not a fun time. It was just not a fun time. And that's fine. Like, that happens some days, I guess. I know it does. That's gonna happen, right? I'm not gonna always be ready and raring to go with creativity. And on top of that, there was other stuff that I was doing. It's like nearing Christmas time, so I'm also like preparing gifts for people because there's a lot of people in my family and I ain't got money to give them stuff that is bought. And I was also creating a scoreboard for the podcast my husband and I have, which, shameless plug, I recorded a podcast with a hunk that splits my rent. There we talk about movies, music, and TV that greatly infected our lives and helped create us as to who we are. It's called Media Made. I'll put the link for this week's episode down in the down there square. Give us a listen. It's a lot of fun. I'm told by our friends and family, whom love us but are also pretty honest. But hey, if you don't love us, give it a listen. I would like your unbiased opinion. But yeah, I made a scoreboard because, you know, competition makes for a healthy relationship, and I'm always winning, and I need to make sure that we can see that in a physical form. I'm a good wife. But honestly, there's not much else to say. You can see how exhausted I am currently and how all over the place I was while shooting the 2 days that I did. I guess a few housekeeping things. I'm going to be changing the format of these videos just slightly for a number of reasons. I think that when I start putting up end of month story videos, they'll probably look a lot like it did last week. Anxiety rising. But in the interim, I feel like I need to change it up. One, I don't really think that I need to be counting the days. I was initially doing it to count how many days I'm working on my novel, but I only did that 3 days this week, and that would be fine to like just add 3 days to the count. But last week I didn't work on my novel at all. I worked on a side story, but the counter still went up. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be editing this today and probably tomorrow, and I'll figure it out when I come to that bridge and bungee jump off of it. I also want to just change up me having to shoot daily, not because it's overwhelming, because it's really not, but because when I'm not doing a monthly story, it feels a little redundant because I'm not necessarily sharing with you the things that I'm working on, because the novel is more secretive than the other story that I would put up that would go up pretty quickly. So I don't think I need to like pop up and be like, yeah, I wrote today. Okay, see you tomorrow. That seems like a lot of silly work. And I didn't do that this week. And before even editing this, it's 19 minutes. So I don't think I need to do that. Maybe, so the whole thing's gonna change. We're changeable, that's fine. The name of the game is flexibility. Look at how flexible I am. So that's what we're gonna do. Maybe. No, definitely. I don't know exactly what that's gonna look like. It's probably gonna like change up from week to week until I find something that I like. However, that is it for this week, kids. So I'm gonna go export this video and then edit, and then later go out with my husband. Well, not out, because pandemic and rising cases. To my future self watching this, I don't have a message for you. I'm kind of annoyed. I'm kind of annoyed at past self who had her hair touching the mic and has to do this morning, even though she really, really, really didn't want to. So I don't want to talk to any versions of me. I hope that doesn't hurt your feelings. If it does, buy yourself a milk tea on me, or go to their fridge, because I'm sure you've already made one. But hey, if you want something extra special, no, it's okay. It's okay. Go and buy yourself a milk tea. I'm sorry I was mean. I just am tired. I don't want to look at her face anymore, but I have to edit at least for another 2 hours, so. Cool. Okay, kids, I'm going to say good day before I have a very public, crazy moment. Have a good week, day. Have a good time.